Greetings, all! Today, we will be examining the uncommon fighting-type Pokemon Throh, the Judo Pokémon, and its equally uncommon counterpart Sawk, the Karate Pokémon. Masters of the fighting arts, and curious fighters in their form and specialties, Throh and Sawk are a pair of powerful fighters that can more than use the might of the martial arts to make a name for themselves in any fight. Both Throh and Sawk possess brightly colored forms with thick, rocky skin that helps to protect them against attack, with a series of crisscrossing lines on their outer hide that give them an incredibly rugged look, as does the large bar of black flesh that forms a T pattern on their face in the case of Throh and a bolt-shaped form in the face of Sawk, as well as their piercing black eyes. Both of these creatures possess toeless feet with 3-fingered hands and wear special white and light blue robes, respectively, that cover the majority of their forms, with a similar crisscrossing line pattern as their skin and black patches and belts made from fused vine material. Aside from this, these beasts are readily separated from one another by the overall body form, as Throh have bright red skin and a short, stout frame, while Sawk have bright blue skin and have a taller, more streamlined form. Throh and Sawk are peculiar, all-male creatures whose influence on humankind is more than noteworthy, but it does raise some serious questions in regards to their isolation to certain parts of the world. First of all, unlike the many fighting-type Pokemon that pick up their martial arts skills from observing others or being taught them directly, these Pokemon are believed to be the origin points for two of the most famous styles of the martial arts, namely Judo for Throh and Karate for Sawk, as these creatures are innately born with the power to use and master these combat styles very easily from birth. The problem with this is that the places in the world where these styles are said to have originated from are far away from the lands where these Pokemon are natively found. As such, it is unknown how they managed to inspire their forms of the martial arts among humans in the first place, with a possible capture or shipwrecking of some sort being the only logical thoughts, and even then, it's a sketchy explanation at best. What can at least be said, though, is that these fighters are masters of their craft and dangerous creatures to have to face as a result, with impressive power that belittles their otherwise strange appearances. They might specialize in two very different styles of fighting, but Throh and Sawk are both very powerful creatures and can be excellent teachers for those looking to increase their overall skills in the martial arts. Much as the art of Judo is subdivided into 5 different types of throwing techniques, Throh always travel in packs of 5, and their short, squat frames work to their favor in the one thing that they specialize in as part of their martial art: throwing others. These creatures, who can get a fresh surge of adrenaline pumping through the systems to power themselves up, simply by tightening their belt and regularly change their belts as they grow stronger, are masters of grabbing and throwing opponents and will use a number of different techniques in order to get the opposition to the ground where they are completely vulnerable. The fact that their bodies are built low to the ground helps them immensely, as it allows them to use a greater torque to rotate their entire bodies to throw to the side or overhead, oftentimes being able to chuck opponents that are many times their own size. When confronted by a new type of opponent that is larger than themselves, these creatures will immediately start any confrontation by trying their best to use a basic throw of some sort to toss their opponent onto the ground. If this is not possible, they will instead wait for their target to raise a leg or something of the sort up into the air, at which point Throh will rush over and grab the other leg, pulling hard to force the opposition down onto the ground where they can easily be finished off by powerful close-quarters strikes. This grants these creatures access to some fairly exclusive moves, such as the Circle Throw attack and the rare Storm Throw attack, which focuses damage on an opponent's pressure points to inflict critical hits with every strike, and can thus be tricky customers for any sort of basic strategy to work against to counter their offenses. Their extreme dedication to their training in the wild and ability to easily focus their minds on their own physical forms in a fight can grant them access to the inner focus ability as a base ability, while their hardy natures can also allow them to have the guts ability as a base ability. Those that are extremely adept at their craft, and that are also able to use their powers to bulldoze through the abilities and natural attributes of other Pokemon, can further possess the Mold Breaker ability as a hidden ability, and can thus prove to be a serious threat to strategies that require abilities in order to work. In terms of stats, these creatures show their sturdy sides well, as while they might not be incredibly powerful or have much to offer in the way of mobility or special power, they have strong defenses and a surprising degree of stamina on their side, granting them above average base HP, defense, and special defense stats for fully evolved fighting-type Pokemon, and in turn rendering them sturdy walls that can take a lot of damage and dish it right back out whenever needed in close quarters. As masters of karate, Sawk are a different bag of tricks compared to their fighting counterpart, and can be a real threat of their own in the right situations. While they can similarly force themselves into an adrenaline rush by tightening their belts in a psychological fashion, these creatures trade the slow, powerful throws used by Throh for rapid but devastating physical strikes that are designed to strike the weakest points of an opponent and either whittle away at them with fast, rapid strikes, or target those weak points directly and strike with devastating blows that can cut down opponents in an instant. These Pokemon take their training incredibly seriously and will usually choose to train high up in the mountainous terrain where they can do so in peace. However, the sound of them practicing their punching and kicking strikes can often be heard from miles away as they attack trees and boulders with all their might, so the nesting locations are surprisingly easy to locate. This does not mean it is a wise idea to interrupt them, though, as Sawk will become highly enraged if their training is disturbed and will fight off the invaders in their territory with attacks that are sure to leave most opponents broken and badly beaten as a lesson to not interrupt them again. This can make them a bit volatile to some degree, but they otherwise show great discipline towards the art and will train every day that they can, sometimes even going without sleep just so they can perfect certain skills and techniques. Desiring the strongest karate chop, these creatures might have access only to moves that are among the more common to see among fighting-type Pokemon, but they are one of the few species able to naturally learn the Rock Smash attack, and they are more than capable of using brutal attacks to cut down opponents with little effort. Their extreme dedication to their training and capacity to sometimes exceed the expectations of others so much that it eliminates the abilities of others results in them having access to Inner Focus as a base ability and Mold Breaker as a hidden ability, but their incredible physical and mental resilience also in turn grants them access to the Sturdy ability as a base ability, making them not so easy to defeat even with powerful super effective strikes against them. As far as their stats go, these creatures have a bit of a muddled mix of stats, with decent ones overall, but little that stands out strongly. The only base stat of theirs that is above average for a fully evolved fighting-type Pokemon is their base attack stat, but it is still surprisingly high and can enable them to deal severe damage to anything that dares to get in range of their kicking and punching strikes in a battle. True masters of the martial arts, and definitely capable of making a stand in any fight, Throh and Sawk are skilled creatures that can use their respective arts to crack through even the strongest of defenses and prove themselves to be true threats in combat. They might not always stack up against the strongest of fighting types, but what these beasts specialize in, they excel at, and are the perfect addition to any team looking for a specific fighting style to be added to their party. If you ever come across one of these creatures in the wild, make sure that you pay them and their techniques heed and respect them. Get too cocky in fighting against them, and you and your Pokemon might either find yourselves flung clear to the horizon, or have every bone in your body broken against the offensive might of these sturdy combatants. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description. With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.